TikTok live right now over here with about 18,000 people following us over here. In addition to that, you've got, of course, places like LinkedIn and Twitter live. So we look forward to being a part of your lives every week. If you have any questions at all during the show, do not hesitate to reach out to us. And if it's not now, it can be also later. Miss Jessica Allen with Frank and Elizabeth's Doggy Duds. Jessica, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So how did you come up with the name Frank and Elizabeth's Doggy Duds?
So those are actually my two rescue dogs.
Oh, wow. What kind of dogs are they?
Elizabeth is a pit bull mix with foxhound.
Cool. Wow.
We adopted her the first day of lockdown.
Wow.
So that's when we picked her up. And Frank is a treeing walker coonhound rescue.
Wow.
He came here from South Carolina.
No kidding.
Yeah, so I had those two dogs. We've since adopted a third dog, but I couldn't work his name in.
It's okay.
It was too late.
That's all right. I'm sure that he's okay. What's his name, by the way?
Bones.
Bones.
Yeah.
Great names. Who helps come up with these names?
Elizabeth came with a name when we
Okay.
adopted her, and it was Libby, but we wanted to use her more formal, Elizabeth.
Yes.
And one of our daughters picked Frank's name.
Cool.
And Bones came with his name, and the kids liked it.
I like it. Very, very cool. So, Miss Jessica Allen is a local business. I'm big on local businesses. Our team is big on local businesses. That's why we like to bring in local businesses here on the show to help support them and for you to help build their business up and having fun doing so with great products and great experiences. So, Miss Jessica Allen, let's talk about what you're doing. Oh, I just remembered it. I forgot the one thing. Could you do me a favor? Can you go into the office room for me? I left one on the table. It's a pattern over there. I forgot. I apologize. So, Miss Jessica over here, what is it you're selling over here? What kind of products? Let's bring them out for
Okay.
people to see.
These, you want to hold one up?
Yeah, sure. So, tell everybody what I'm holding up over here.
What you're holding is a turtleneck fleece dog sweater.
Now, I want to make sure you can see. This would be the neck area,
Correct.
and then over here we have
The
area,
body.
the body area where the legs come out over here, and this will be the backside, the tushy area.
Yep,
Okay.
that's correct.
Now, this material, thank you so much, Stan, for bringing that into over here, the show over here. So this material is very soft.
It is. It's
Very
fleece.
cozy. Oh, it's fleece. Okay.
Correct.
It's very, very cool stuff. So, in order for somebody to get something like this, obviously you need to know some information about the dog. So let me get into some questions before I even start opening things up. But I'll put these on top of the table here. We can go through them. Some really cool patterns, by the way.
Okay. This is a tiny one here. And I have also some giant ones.
It's for larger dogs and
Right.
very seasonal. Love the colors. Very a lot of greens and oh, look at that with Christmas
That's
trees.
Christmas cookies.
Wow, that's very cool. All right, so we got a bunch of questions. Want to make sure you can get through as many as possible for all of you. And again, if you have questions, if you have a dog and you've never purchased something for their body to keep them warm and cozy, or if you have purchased something, you're going to find a huge difference between this material, this experience working with Jessica and her company versus anything you've ever bought from a business that is a more national company that you're spending a lot of money and getting a cheaper product. Is that fair to say that?
That is absolutely fair.
Fantastic. All right. So how did you decide to get into this business?
It wasn't, I kind of just fell into it. We had the dogs. They're both from down south. They're
Yes.
short-haired dogs. They live under blankets in the winter. So I had bought a few different dog sweaters which didn't work well.
Right.
Either because they had like points on them that were irritating or they were ill-fitting.
They're trying to get it off. They're
Or
happy.
it's meant to look good but not be functional.
Yes.
So I decided to try to make a couple sweaters in different ways for our dogs. And, you know, I worked through what worked, what didn't work, and this is what I arrived at.
Well, that's pretty cool because now your dogs love these sweaters.
They do love them.
And you probably brought them out to some dog park and the people went bananas. Is that
That
fair?
is what happened.
Right? So
Yes.
you're making a couple things for yourself, for your doggies, and all of a sudden people are like, oh my God, where did you buy that? Oh my, and you're like, I made this myself.
Right.
And they're like, would you make one for me?
Yes.
And you're like, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Mostly just because like they were so excited about it and
Right.
like seeing people like going crazy over something that I could very easily
Make up.
produce,
Yeah.
but that they don't have access to.
Right. And nobody wants to go and make something. They want to buy it. Like, hey, listen, how often do you make coffee for yourself? Or do you go out and buy coffee on the road? You stop at a local coffee shop or a fast food place. You get coffee, right? It's
Right.
conveniences. And people like to buy things for convenience because it's easier to buy than make it. Even cookies. You can make cookies, but why not if you can buy it from a great baker like our friend Steffi Sweets from an amazing cookie girl. Is there anybody have any questions out there, Thane?
Valerie said, how do you know if your dog is cold? Do they exhibit a different behavior?
Oh, that's a great question. So Valerie, my wife, my princess, my queen over here, which I'm going to share something very much about that also. Okay. So question, does a dog exhibit any kind of,
I think if we're cold, they're cold is what people say, right? However, in the case of our dogs, they would climb under blankets fully.
and sometimes dogs just like to be cozy, even if
Yeah.
they're warm. The fact of something grabbing onto their body,
You are correct, and I'll elaborate on that. So this can function somewhat as like a thunder vest. Like we had a thunder vest for our dog, but the way that these are meant to fit is form-fitting to the body. So it sort of does offer like a little bit of, I guess, neurofeedback.
absolutely, it
I'm
absolutely
not
does.
saying that medically, I'm just, I'm saying anecdotally
Do you know
for
what?
our dogs.
Do you know when it comes to animals, we learn a lot about our dogs, and some dogs feel like they need to be free and they rip things apart, right? And some
Right.
dogs just want to be snuggled. They love to be snuggled, and if your dog likes to be snuggled, it's very possible your dog's going to want something that's going to make them feel cozy all year long. It could be just at nighttime, it could be just in the wintertime. You know your dog better than anybody else does. In order to learn about this, is by trying things out.
Right.
Is that fair?
It is fair, and what we found is that one of our dogs, especially when I say, do you want to put your sweater on, she comes running.
That's amazing.
Elizabeth. And Frank, like, needs his sweater, but doesn't want to put it on. So, like, he calms down when it's on him, but he resists it.
So it's almost like an emotional support sweater.
Oh, you could say
I
that.
think so, why not?
Yeah.
It's not medical, it's just emotional.
Yeah, he's just cozy.
It's just cozy.
Yeah.
All right, so how many dogs do you have, by the way?
We have 3.
3 dogs. That's right,
Yes.
we talked about that before.
It's raucous.
Bones, Frankie, and Elizabeth.
Correct.
All right, and what kind of materials are we using to make these sweaters? And we just mentioned that before. It is a fleece type material.
Correct.
Very soft and cozy.
But I'm gonna show you, I use 2 different grades of
Okay.
fleece, and that's not to say one is better than the other, but this fleece is like super duper extra
Oh, wow.
warm and luxurious.
I love the colors too, by the way.
This is like a very, very high-end fleece.
I can feel it by the thickness and the way it just feels. So this would be for a larger dog.
No, it's just that this one
I'm
is
just
made,
curious.
this one is for a larger dog, but the fabric is for anyone.
So if I was to say to you, okay, we're looking at this thingy here, you can see the size of the legs you cut out over here. I'm just curious, what size dog would this be for normally?
I would think like a beefier pit bull, like
Beefier
a
pit bull.
full-size, larger pit
Okay.
bull. Maybe a Burmese mountain dog.
We have another question out there for our guests.
From Shannon, what is the largest sizes you sell?
3X, which would be suitable for like a Mastiff.
Now, if you don't mind, Shannon, while you're out there and watching, Shannon's one of our team agents. She's an amazing girl, woman, lover. And Shannon, if you could let us know what kind of dog you have, maybe how many pounds it is to ask that question. Is that a fair question?
That is, yeah.
So Shannon, what kind of dog do you have and what size is it? So maybe it gives her a better idea. But going back into that question, you need to know from the people who own these dogs, you have to have them measure the dog, right?
Correct.
How do you measure a dog? How do the people out there measure a dog for you?
So you would want to measure it at the widest part of the chest.
Yes.
And the lowest part of the neck.
Okay.
And those are the 2 most important measurements if you have a dog with regular proportions.
Okay.
This isn't going to fit a greyhound appropriately.
Could you make for a greyhound in size also?
Not the same. And
Okay.
they need a different sweater because they truly are very, very cold animals. So
Okay.
like they usually have legs on them and
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
And they cover like the back end of them.
Oh,
So like
wow.
that's just a different market completely.
Okay. All right, that's good to know. So going back to the question I just asked you, was it size of dog I was asking you now? Was that the question?
Yeah,
So size of dog, they're gonna measure the dog. So what about the length? How long does because obviously dogs are different. Do they measure from the tail
Generally-
to the neck?
I don't rely on that measurement
Okay.
heavily. But if you have a dog that's like an outlier, like a basset hound or a dachshund, like I would need more information to make sure that what I make would be appropriate.
So they need to know what kind of dog more or less, because if it's a Doberman, for example, or if it's a Mastiff, Mastiffs are big dogs, you definitely need some kind of length on the dog, right? Between
Well,
the neck
they're
and the...
usually pretty proportional is what I'm saying,
Okay.
other than dogs like a greyhound or a whippet or...
You know a lot about dogs.
I've learned a lot
Yeah.
about dogs. I actually wasn't a dog person until we got Elizabeth.
No
so
kidding.
I'm all in now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. How many different kinds of options do you have for like materials? Are there, as what we see here, are there more materials available?
Oh, there's hundreds.
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 Now, would people go to your Facebook page or Instagram page and see the different kind of materials options?
What they would see would be a lot of pictures of my models
Okay.
in different fabrics for inspiration.
Okay.
And then I would refer them to another website that has the listings of the fabrics that I have access to. I order them and I produce what
So
they want.
you send them to a website that has the different kind of materials.
Correct.
That's pretty cool. So they can actually pick and choose whatever they
From
want.
hundreds of fabrics.
Wow. Did
Yeah.
by Shannon, by any chance, get back to us with regarding the, no, Shannon, don't leave us over here. I want to get that information for you. All right, so, can you get stitching logos, names on the sweater, on these jackets or sweaters? Can you get a logo or stitching on them with names?
You can get tags
Okay.
with a logo.
Okay.
The fleece is not the best fabric for self-embroidery.
So a tag would be something like you have on here.
Right, but like with the company logo, I
Okay.
could do that.
You could do it, so if I wanted to have a brand logo, like a Team Powerhouse logo on a dog sweater, we could make that happen.
We could.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean, I would
So-
suggest it more for like a solid fabric, and I think,
Sure. Or if the stitching was just stop, well, so team guys, Team Powerhouse agents, or if you're a real estate agent out there, or if you own a company out there, and you would like to do a very special event or give out gifts for your employees, and you would like to get maybe a bunch of dog sweaters for people's dogs and have your logo put on them, that could be pretty cool stuff.
it could. Actually, I had a breeder reach out to me who was considering offering them with puppy adoptions.
Wow. So breeders out there, you just picked up another scoop of people over there. So if you're a breeder out there and you'd like to maybe present your new puppy with a special sweater because it needs a little something to warm up, oh my God, that's such a great idea. Or they add, as they get bigger and yada, 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 have now a relationship with new clients. All right, my tongue is getting tied over here, so I'm gonna have a little water. Cheers.
The breeder actually reached out to me initially to order sweaters for her own dogs, and then just sort of was like, do you think this is something?
I think that's pretty cool. I
Yeah.
think that's really, really cool. What makes your products better?
So better is obviously subjective.
Well, we'll consider it better, period. How about that? So
Okay.
what's so great about your quality
What's
of product?
cool about
Yes.
my product is I tried this a million different ways on my dogs.
Okay.
And I saw where things were breaking down. Plus, I tried lots of other sweaters before I decided to make my own.
Of
So
course.
I bought things at all, the regular stores, what's commercially available. It wasn't meant for dog comfort. It was meant for humans to be like, oh, this is so cute.
Right.
And they are cute, which is why I was buying them. But what I found was that my dogs really didn't want to put them on. They weren't very comfortable. So what's special about these, there's a few things. I would say the turtleneck is pretty special.
Let's
So,
point that out to everybody how this turtleneck works.
so it's just a longer neck. This
So-
one is for a tiny dog, so it's not as long as I would make it on a bigger dog.
Maybe like a little Shih Tzu or a Yorkie or I don't know. I'm just
Yeah, they
throwing
have
names
shorter necks
Yeah.
and like excess material on a tiny dog isn't
out.
the
Or
best.
or they
But
call the very popular dog. It's like the big ears and talks.
Papillon.
I'm thinking about it's a very popular dog. We actually talked about this. They're bred a certain way that, what's it, a bulldog? Special kind of
Oh,
bulldog.
a French bulldog.
French bulldog, yes. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I would make one for whoever wants one, but the purpose of the neck for our dogs initially was because their ears were always freezing.
Right.
So you could keep the neck down and it looks really cute.
Yes.
A dog in a turtleneck is just cute.
Yes.
But you could also, like, when they're sleeping, pull it up over their ears and it like muffles sound and it sort of functions as like a non-cinching snood.
Wow.
Do you know what a snood is?
I don't, but I'm learning a new word.
It's like a balaclava for a dog with a drawstring, and it goes around their face because dogs calm down when their ears are covered.
I did not know that.
So
Did you guys know that your dogs are calm when their ears are covered? If you did know, let's see if you let me hear about it. And if you didn't know, how about that? This is pretty cool stuff.
So I just found with our dogs, like, they want to be as cozy as they can be, but there's some things that don't work well for coziness, like legs on
Right.
a dog sweater. For most dogs, it's going to be
Not to mention, what a pain in the butt to put on legs for it. I mean, that's gotta be difficult.
like that. It's cute, but like for our dogs, it probably wouldn't last or stay dry very long.
Right, definitely.
So, but the head covering is something that could work.
I like this fact that, so the neck's a little longer, you can also pull it over the head of the dog,
Like up, yeah, you could pull it up over their ears.
over their ears.
Yeah.
Very cool stuff. How do you get proper size for your dog? Now, we kind of talked about that a little bit. So you wanted it from the clients, the neck size
And the chest.
and the chest size.
Correct.
And that helps you identify how big to make the material, how large to make the dog
Yeah.
jacket. Now, I want to show you guys also, so we met Miss Jessica a couple weeks ago at a really cool event that Kelly Murray did at True Love Pet Care, an amazing girl, we love her. She also takes care of our dog, and when we were there doing this table event, I got to meet Miss Jessica, and Bruno, our dog Bruno Bucatini, was there, and Valerie and Drew picked out this material specifically for Bruno, where his head will be here,
Right.
and it's a little neck stuff going on here, and then his legs go over here, and I know that we're super excited about it to get it to him. So especially with this winter weather, this cold weather coming up,
Yeah.
I can tell you that while Bruno is a golden doodle, and he's got
I met him.
right, you met him.
I
He's
did.
this beautiful dog with warm, fluffy fur. He goes outside, he's like, "Whoa," you know, he's like he's cold.
Does he like getting under a blanket?
He definitely likes to not only get on a blanket, he likes to chew the blanket, he likes to be snuggled. He's a snuggler all day long. So like he just gets on your lap, and he'll want to cozy up with you. And the bigger the dogs, I find they want to cozy up with you more. They
For
like to
sure.
snuggle. It's very interesting. So almost like you think to yourself, well, you've got this dog with fur on it. It doesn't need a jacket, but if it has an opportunity to have something to warm them up, it's going to be a better place for them because they're going to feel more soothing. It's soothing.
And I think, you know, there's some dogs that this is more of a fashion item. We have a lab. Bones is a chocolate lab.
Yeah.
He doesn't need a sweater.
Right.
Realistically, he doesn't need one. But do I put one on him anyway and take some pictures?
He walks around.
I
he's
sure
like
do.
a-
You can see him on my Instagram. He's one of my better models.
Love
He
it.
sits nicely.
Because they feel confident. They got this like, look at me. I'm wearing a little something special over here,
Yeah,
That
he's
special
very
kind
cute
of
in it.
chin up, half smile.
We even brought him to Jones Family Farms this year to get
Really?
a Christmas tree in his sweater. He
Wow.
was a hit.
That's awesome. Another place where people just probably said to you, where do you get these sweaters? Where do
They
you get-"
did.
That's pretty awesome. All right, so let's see. How do you
Another
size?
thing, you
Yes.
asked me what was special
Yes,
about these
please.
or different. Because it's form-fitting and it sounds like your dog's a chewer,
Yes.
they can't really reach this to chew it.
That's a good point.
So what we found, like our dogs in the past would get annoyed at what they had on and rip it, like try to pull it off themselves.
Yeah.
they don't do, first of all, they don't want to do it with this, but they really don't have much of an opportunity to because of it's not in an area that their mouth can reach easily.
If I can say the word like a Snuggie
Kind
or
of,
type
yeah.
of material or experience, I'm going to show off these different patterns over here as you're probably watching this show, and get an idea of the different kind of, options you have available to yourself. And of course, like you said, there's thousands of options, but you got some great ones right here.
Yeah, and
I'd
like
love
I
to tie to
usually
anyone.
talk to people, chat with people to get measurements and stuff, and there's been times people pick things out that I don't think would work well because of the scale or whatever, so we do talk about that and talk through what we're doing and what we're deciding on.
This reminds me of like a Vermont setting,
I love
like,
that
the
one.
winter Christmas vibe. You can see like by
It's
a
like
fireplace.
Christmassy, but also like if you're a hiking enthusiast.
Yeah, that's exactly the emotional I got right. That's exactly what I got. And you've got the preppy
The buffalo plaid, that is
Yeah.
very, very popular.
buffalo plaid, they call it.
They have it in, I have red, gray and white, black and white, the green.
It reminds me of very preppy back in the day,
It's kind of like the lodge.
The lodge,
style.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're totally creating a scene over here with different of it. And I like this cookie one over here. It's really cute. Very
This
festive.
one's a little kooky. It's a little wild for me personally, but it's fun and
It's
festive.
festive. Yeah, very festive. And you know what the great part is? You can have multiple sweaters. They could be daily or weekly, or depending on what kind of event you're going to, and you want to take your dog with you if you can, if you're allowed to. And it dresses up your dog, so it's not just a dog that is there. It looks a little more tidy, I guess you could call it,
Yeah, and the majority of what the orders I receive are repeat customers. So like a lot of people, I have this one lady who's wonderful. She loves her dog, loves dressing her dog up, and she has continually ordered from me. Like she goes on and she picks out fabrics, and sometimes I see them and I'm like, wow, this is not what I would have picked. But then when I do it, she's got an eye.
Right, she knows.
So it's like you're helping someone else execute a vision they have too,
Absolutely.
which is really fun.
Absolutely. Thane, again, and you're watching the Facebook, you're watching the Instagram, and the TikTok. I'm not sure how many people are watching over there. Any questions going on over there? Typically, most come from here. But if you have questions, anybody out there, please don't hesitate to ask. And again, if you missed this show and you're watching this later on, we're going to make sure we have all of Jessica's contact information. But let's do it right now while we're talking about it. So what is your Instagram page?
It's Frank_and_Elizabeth,
Frank_and_Elizabeth.
all spelled out.
That's it.
Correct.
And that's going to bring them right to the Dougie Duds page,
Homepage, yeah.
And on Facebook, what kind of page? What's this on the same thing, or is
If
it?
you look up Frank and Elizabeth on Facebook, I'm there, and it's a photo of a dog in a sweater.
Frank and Elizabeth on Facebook.
Correct.
All right, good to know. Let's go with some more questions. How do you clean these sweaters? Is there a special way for cleaning?
It's just machine wash and dry.
Just like a regular washer and dryer.
Right.
Beautiful. That makes it simple and easy. We like simple and easy. Are there different themes or options for? Well, I already asked that question.
Well, it is an interesting question. I
Yep.
made some fall. I did Dia de los Muertos,
Oh wow.
and I did some like pumpkin themes.
Okay, so Halloween.
Yeah,
That's
but the
pretty
most
cool.
popular for fall, like when people were thinking about going to the pumpkin farm and
Yep.
taking photos, was like a plaid that was like a pumpkin spice kind of look. So it
I
was
like that.
classy looking, but
Right.
still.
It kind of went with the holiday theme, the season
Right.
kind of thing. It's very interesting. More seasonal themes, if you will, like that whole getting ready for the fall, winter. I like
Right.
that. Very cool stuff. What is the proper way to put this on a dog?
So I'll demonstrate. We'll do the tiny one
Okay.
for ease. So what I do is I just wind it up like a sock,
Okay.
and then I put it over the dog's head.
So this is the head, this is the front.
Correct.
Okay.
The turtleneck part. It has give to it just because of the nature of the fabric.
Mm-hmm.
So once the dog's in there with his head, you just kind of have to push his legs in.
Okay.
It's and it's easy. It's very
Kind of
easy
pull
to
down
do.
and
Yep.
pop it inside.
Yeah, and the fabric has like plenty of give to get the leg in and out easily.
You know, it's interesting. when you said it, as you're talking, I'm picturing this in my head, how this is happening. But initially, I'm thinking, how do you get this on a dog? But as soon as I got the whole head thing, and then it kind of,
Well, I could
creates-
tell you one more idea
Okay.
that I used. So you do this.
Yes.
The same thing I just showed you.
Yes.
You put a treat in this hand.
Oh,
Put it through. Hold it like this, and then when they take the treat, you quick pull it over their head.
ah.
If they're not as enthusiastic
About
as
the
you wish
idea.
they were.
Right.
Yeah, and that's worked
Treats
well
are
for me.
great motivation for dogs. A dog never gets bored of treats.
They do not.
They will eat 1,000 treats if you gave them.
That
You would
is-
actually think sometimes, it's funny, the dog eats all its food, and you know it's full. And where is it when you're cooking? Right by your feet.
Right, yeah.
Right? Waiting for something to drop
100%.
down. And it's like, can't be hungry. If you
Right.
put more food in their bowl, they're gonna eat it? No?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
your dog may.
Our dogs
Yeah,
would.
is that right? Our dog eats the bowl of food, and then later on, you're like, okay, you know the dog's full. But where is he? He's next to Drew, waiting for her to drop something on the floor, or Val is cooking, or, it's funny. They just
But they
love.
clean it up
They
for
definitely
you.
clean it up for you, 100% facts. How long does it take to make one of these and then have delivered? What's an average turnaround time for you?
So it depends where the fabric is available.
Okay,
Sometimes I have to pick it up a little far, but a week at best,
so
or worse.
from the point of ordering the material to making it and having it available to ship out, and then a week later, within,
Within a week, someone would have a sweater in
That's
their
pretty
hand.
quick.
Yeah.
that's pretty amazing. All right,
I try to turn things around.
I believe you. And then with the Christmas season coming up, I'm sure that orders are coming in a little heavier.
They are.
So are you still on track for a week, would you say, right now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. And will you be doing any kind of upcoming events at all?
Yes, I do have an event in West Hartford.
Ooh, very exciting.
Yeah. On January 13th.
And we can get more details from you on your social media pages and Facebook and Instagram.
Yes, and if you're coming to the event, measure your dog before you come. Although I'm happy to take custom orders at the event, but if you want to take something home with you, it's important to look at that ahead of time.
So you would actually make things at the event while you're there?
No, but I
Ah.
will have them, I have
Got it,
an
okay.
inventory.
It's glad I was gonna say, that's quite a,
No, I have an inventory, but like
Right.
what I found is at these events,
oh, some of these things that are.
people don't know what size their dog
Gotcha.
is.
Because you could have things you could buy for your dog that actually would fit your dog in advance.
I have 8 sizes on hand.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Okay. So,
But if you don't know what size, like you can't really just look at a dog and
Right.
know what's gonna work.
I agree with you. Especially if you're investing in this kind of things here. One of the questions I didn't write down to ask you is, can you talk about costs on the stuff here? You comfortable? Like, in the different sizes have different costs? for you?
They do not. They're
Okay.
all the same price.
Okay.
And the reason for that, if we're talking about the input
Yeah.
into this, is that while the fabric cost may be lower,
Yeah.
the smaller jackets are really much harder for me to make.
Okay.
So what they save in fabric, they make up for in time.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So what's a jacket? What's a sweater jacket go for on a dog? What's the cost of this stuff?
Right now, I'm selling a custom-made sweater for $35.
Beautiful, beautiful. $35 for a great gift for your dog. Your dog's gonna be so happy, so excited, and so warm and cozy, and probably gonna walk a little bit more posture-like, a little bit more excited when it sees you. We're getting to the end of my questions over here, and if you have anything else you want to share before we go, what do you do with the leftover samples and materials? What do you do with stuff like that?
What I've been doing is packaging them up and sending them to rescues.
That's so amazing.
So they're sweaters that my dogs have worn as models for a few minutes or even for some time.
Even if they've had it for a season, it
Right.
still doesn't go to waste because
Yeah,
it
the
can still be
rescues
used.
are thrilled to
That's so
receive them.
fantastic.
And I also think, like, besides being functional at a shelter, they're cute to take photos and, like, hopefully somebody would get adopted.
That's so cool. I love that. Are you looking for dog models?
I am always open to talking to dog models.
Maybe you have a dog that would like to be a part of her social media platforms, and you can
Absolutely.
buy a sweater for her, your dog, and then you can take pictures, and we have models, and
I am very happy. Actually, most of my customers are on my Instagram
Love it.
because they're so cute.
Absolutely.
You know, like I see, and one of the best parts about this is getting pictures from people and
They're so proud.
hearing just like the joy that they have. Everyone wants to show off their dog anyway.
That is fantastic. You know, I was just thinking about Jamie, one of our agents in our team. She has 3 dogs, I believe. Am I correct, Thane? 3 dogs. And with the 3 dogs she has, there are 2 small ones that are like this big. And I would think, now, can you make them that small?
The smallest I could make would be suitable, like probably for a Chihuahua.
Okay.
Actually, this past weekend, somebody came and ordered one for a Chin,
I don't know what
a
that is.
Japanese Chin,
Okay.
which is, I believe you saw it.
Is that
It
the
had
white one?
long-
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
That
yeah.
tiny thing.
Yes,
And
yes.
she sent me photos and it looks great.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And then like what you were saying about the small dogs, and I get a lot of orders where somebody has one large dog and
Right.
a small dog and they're able to match the outfits.
It's so funny you mentioned that. How often people have a large dog, this big dog, and then you have this tiny little dog, and who's the bully? The little
If you
one.
come to our house, you'll see who it is. It's the smallest one.
They're always the bully. It's so funny. All right, we are at the end of our show. The next part of our show is going to be where we give a free tumbler out to a special lucky contestant. If anybody out there wants to win a tumbler, they are going to look like this now. They have pink, we have black, we have some blue ones coming out, some really cool colors. So if you'd like to win a tumbler, please let us know. We'll put you on the wheel so we can spin you around and see if you have a chance to win. And Thane, if you could please get us a lucky winner for the show this week, please. We can't see this part, but we'll hear it spinning around.
That's fun.
It's, you know, make it fun.
And enjoy.
Bring enjoy to the people and the holidays and, you know.
Gene Theisen, 34.
Can you spell that out for me?
TikTok. Jeanne.
Gene Theisen from TikTok.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gene Theisen from TikTok. If you'd like your tumbler, please reach out to us so we can get this over to you. We definitely need your contact information. We can get this out to you as soon as possible. We want to thank you so much, Miss Jessica Allen.
Thank you, Dave.
You were
This
awesome.
was really fun.
You have a great product over here. You're a local business. You are somebody who's going to bring a lot of smiles and warmth to people's hearts and their dogs' hearts.
I hope
And,
so.
and it's exciting to be able to sit down with you and share this business about what you do. And for the dogs out there who are looking to get cozy, and for the moms and dads out there and the sisters and brothers out there, and anybody you know who would like to get for their special someone, I say obviously special someone, their pet, their dogs, get in touch with Jessica Allen. Jessica, is there a phone number we're sharing or just social media?
Just the social media.
Okay, perfect.
But I do want to say the best currency that I receive is dog photos. So
Dog
I'm going to want to
photos.
see
Absolutely. Bruno
in
Oh,
his
yeah.
sweater.
Bruno is going to be in his sweater this evening.
Okay.
And you will definitely get photos posted. As a matter of fact, I would bet dollars to donuts that Val will be posting not only on your page. Can they post on your page or send the photo
They
to
can
you?
tag me.
Tag you.
Yeah.
We'll tag you and post this on social media this evening to see Bruno Bucatini in his new sweater.
I'm
Best
very
jacket.
excited to see that.
You're excited
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you all for joining us today. It was a pleasure being a part of your lives this evening. Again, like, share the event we had over here today, the podcast. We appreciate you so much and the opportunity to share Miss Jessica Allen to the rest of the world. And by the way, she ships all over the country,
I do.
right? We have people watching from all over the country and all over the world watching this show. We have people in Israel, we have people in Russia, we have people in
Wow.
Africa, we have people in Mexico, we have people in Ukraine. There are people all over the world
Someone's
that are
going to
watching
have
the
to
show.
help me with the international shipping.
Well, I'm sure we can figure the part out. But anybody out there looking Canada, I mean, you're watching the show, please reach out to Miss Jessica Allen. Again, your website, your Facebook page and your Instagram page is
Frank_and_Elizabeth.
Frank underscore AND and Elizabeth, I'm sorry,
Underscore again, Elizabeth.
underscore Elizabeth. And we'll make sure that Thane has that on the show now so you can see where to go and make sure we find Miss Jessica Allen and the Frank and Elizabeth Doggy Duds. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of our show today. We will see you